Well, hello, everyone. My name is Cherise Fagner. I have Fax Marketing Solutions with my husband, Tracy Syfax, and I am going to talk to you tonight about how I met my husband during COVID. We dated, we got engaged, and we were married 1 year after I saw him live and in the flesh. So, I am always trying to inspire women because Black women are told at a certain age that, there aren't any men out there, that we have to resign ourselves to being all alone with no spouse, with, just angry and bitter and not having it all. Well, I am the example of that not being the case.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited for this segment because you know what? So many people have doubts at a certain age that it's just not going to happen for them. And I watched you guys from almost the beginning
Yes.
of your relationship,
Yes.
and it was just such a love story. And you guys were picked up by the Philadelphia Times, was it?
Philly Mag, Black Bride, and the New York Times is coming out this weekend.
Oh my goodness, yes. And that article, when I shared it, so many people shared it because they were so inspired and so motivated by the story. They were like, "Oh my God, this is a great love story." So let's talk about dating in COVID, right? And I'm not, I've never did online dating, but now
And
so
I hadn't either. I'd never done online dating. I'd heard all the negative things, the dick pics, people ghosting you, people not having good experiences. I am from the Bay Area, so Silicon Valley, and dating online had this perception of people being desperate. And if you have to be online and you can't meet someone in public, you must be desperate. So I had never dated online either.
wow. So what made you pick, or what were you attracted to about Tracy?
So we probably should start from the beginning because really it's about how I attracted good people in my life. I
Yeah.
think a better way to really talk about me being attracted to him. So, I've been listening to everything yesterday and today, and it's been so informative, but so many things that really align with some of my thought process. I remember someone said yesterday, old ways don't open new doors. And so really it was just a mindset transformation. So I had gotten breast cancer, and just coming out of that was saying, I live a good life, but I don't live an amazing life. My parents propped me up, very educated. My dad always making me really, really confident I was going to be a superstar, but I was living what I considered a relatively mediocre life. And so it wasn't necessarily about preparing myself for relationship, but I had had a series of bad relationships or relationships that didn't go anywhere. I don't want to say bad, but relationships that didn't go anywhere. And I kept thinking like, my kids ran track, so all I'm going to be is Julian Ash's mama, and be single and, can't get, and I was like, there has got to be more to life than this. And so one of the things I did, and you just mentioned it, having a coach, investing in myself. We will invest in everything around us, our hair, our nails, what we look like on the outside, the whole nine. But if we don't invest in ourselves, all that is a waste of money. And I'm
Yeah.
going to be real because I had men that bought me all kinds of stuff. I've been able to buy myself all types of stuff. But until I invested in myself, that's when my inner beauty really started to flourish and shine. And I really believe that if you become an amazing woman, then you will attract an amazing life. And I really think that I'm an example of that because not only are my friends in California amazing, but to move to Philadelphia in my mid 40s and create a whole social circle of amazing people there too that almost just mirrors my California family speaks to the fact that I was able to do, that work, analyze my relationships, whether they were romantic, friends, or my family. I think there was times when, my mother was tough when she raised me, and there was times that I resented that. There was a period of time when my father was on drugs, and again, there were times when I had to be the adult to him. So reconciling those relationships and recognizing your parents do the best that they can, and they do what they think is best for you. So being mad at them does nothing but blocks all your blessings. So you need to honor them regardless, because at the end of the day, my coach used to say, girl, now you know you bad. So your parents must have been pretty good. And she was right. Like, I don't become me without some really amazing parents. And that's just really the bottom line. So that was the first thing, reconciling those. Then I had amazing friends. You met some of them at the wedding. But there
Yes.
would be times when if somebody had a success that I didn't have, I would be a little jealous, or I couldn't celebrate them as much as I should have. And these are my best friends. And I'm like, hold on. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. I'm so competitive and I want to win and I want to this by any means. And really, if I can't celebrate the people that are the closest to me, then A, I'm not going to be celebrated. And then I'm not really celebrating anyone else and God won't bless me. So that was the other piece. And then finally, just being honest with myself about relationships. It was so funny when Nicole talked about being celibate and not having her husband give her money, because I had to realize, like, I was in some relationships because the sex was good, and I was in some relationships because people were compensating and paying for things that I needed to get done for my kids.
Oh,
And women, until we are honest with why we are in relationships, we can't say every man is a narcissist. We can't say every man is no good, because there was a point in time when we saw that relationship not being as fulfilling as it should have been, and we stayed in it. There
oh,
was a point in time where that relationship was good, and it's what attracted us and kept us there. So when I was able to say, thank you, so and so, for teaching me how to do this, or thank you, so and so, for filling that gap when my kids needed to get here, or when I wanted my kids to go to private school and I may not have been able to afford it, but you were there for me. So I needed to recognize I was staying in relationships for all the wrong reasons. And once I got real with myself, then the healing started.
some good stuff right there. No, you said some good stuff right there. I want the ladies to understand that. She said, once I got good with myself, listen, and then you said something else. You said, as I grew and became an amazing woman, I attracted amazing people to my life. You didn't say I attracted an amazing man to my life.
No.
I attracted amazing people to my life. I love that. So let's talk about COVID came.
Yes.
People were like, people dating in COVID, or how was the transition from the online dating to actually meeting in person?
So the beautiful thing was that I had just ended a relationship right before Tracy and I had met, and he had too. So another lesson: don't be in something that's not going anywhere, because your forever could be waiting for you, but you all stuck in something that's not forever, that's temporary, and you're not availing yourself for the forever. So that was one beautiful thing, because it would have been so easy to say, "Ooh, I don't want to be lonely in COVID, and I might as well stick this out with this person." But we both were available. I went online. My name was Bay Love. I had all my, all my, all my pictures of my travels and all kinds of stuff. And so for anyone dating online, I had pictures of me traveling. I had pictures with my hair straight, natural, in braids with extra hair in it, no makeup, sexy, full body, playing, hiking. So I had the gamut, so someone could really see who I was. There's too many times when we're doing these selfies and basic stuff. If you're trying to find exceptional, be exceptional. If you're trying to apply for a job with a man, basically, then your resume needs to look like your job resume that you're trying to get
Oh,
going to work. So my resume was flawless. No. And you know what? I didn't talk about I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. I said, this is who I am. I'm a girl from Bay in the city of brotherly love. And then I just kind of went on expanding on the things that I like to do. And I said, and if you think that this fits or you enjoy this or whatever, reach out to me. And I mean, I had a lot of people, a lot of really great men. I met a lot of great people online. And I would people that I would introduce to other people if they were healed, but they're not. So I don't want to do that.
I
But
know that's right.
But approximately a week or two after being online, Tracy reached out to me. He's got such a beautiful smile, and just his personality just emoted. And another thing I'll say about our own evolution and our own growth: you don't trust men because you don't trust yourself. When you grow enough to trust yourself, you know when you meet good men. People were like, "Well, you just met him." I had no there I never had reservations about my relationship with Tracy, because I trusted myself and I knew energetically I was going to bring the right people into me. So we dated for 2 months without seeing each other physically. So just like this, Zoom and Skype and all that. And finally, May 22nd, 2020, he said he wanted to finally meet, and we were able to, the governor said, we could cross state lines, me in Pennsylvania and him in New Jersey. He came to my house. I had my house converted to a restaurant. I had a chef, a maitre d', I had a violinist, and I vacillated over that because he was not a good dater, a good planner rather. And there's so many times women think men are low effort because they don't plan good dates. That just may be either something they haven't had to do, something they're not exposed to doing, or something we haven't required they do. So we really can't be mad if a man doesn't know how to plan a date. What we can do is show him how to treat us. And if he wants to be with us, he will step up, and he will. So, so I had this amazing date, and just you plan, they pay. Just do that.
Wow.
But, Tracy was blown away, and we basically have been pretty inseparable ever since then. But we had those 2 months to just really get to know each other. No sex, no physical talk. He got to see me as me because I couldn't get my hair done. I couldn't get my eyebrows arched. I couldn't get my facials. So I think we just saw each other's authentic selves, and we saw our hearts really early on.
Wow. Hold up, ladies. In case y'all did not get this, she set her house up like a restaurant with a violinist and a chef. I'm about to marry you because you're better than the dudes. Like, do you have a brother?
But Trey, you came to my wedding, so you know how I'm feeling.
That was off the hook. I'm just so glad. And this is a wonderful thing. I just want people to know how we really met. It's so crazy because you first initially reached out to me and said, I know this amazing guy that I think
June. I had only met him in person like for a month, but I knew. Yep.
I know this amazing guy. I think he would be great on your podcast. And here we are today sitting here, and you guys were married 1 year from the time you met face to face.
Yes.
Just tell women, I just want you to give the women a word of encouragement, the women who are listening, a word of encouragement, because you said people were saying, it's too soon. What if this or what if that? But you just knew for yourself.
We both knew. So I really followed his actions. Like in the beginning, Tracy's super busy, and he didn't call me as often as I wanted him to call me. And I was like, hey, my grandparents and my father, like my people all doted on me. And, if you're saying that you care about me, the way that has been shown to me is through checking up on me constantly. So that's what I need from anyone who wants to be in my life, and he immediately changed his whole program. And so what I would tell ladies is, A, know what you want and be able to articulate and communicate that. And you don't have to say it like, you didn't call me and you don't call me enough and just all that. Don't do that. Men don't like that. And they're learning who you are too, because they're nervous because like he said, he was like, okay, that's all you had to tell me. I didn't know. I didn't want you to think I was stalking. I said, I'm an only child. So stalking is good in my book, but he needed to know that. He needed to know that, I want all the attention. But again, know thyself and to thyself be true, because that is who I am. And that is what he gives me and has given it to me from day one. So I knew I was comfortable with him. I shared with him my desire to be married. I said, it does not have to be to you, but that's what I want. So I prioritize dating. I'm dating multiple people, and I prioritize based on who has my same goals. He stepped his dating up because he found me to be desirable, and he wanted to make sure I prioritized him. So again, ladies, there are amazing men out there. There really are. Work on yourself first. Make yourself the type of person that automatically attracts that amazing person to you. And then be clear on what you want. Be clear on what your non-negotiables are. Be open to be flexible. Us executive women, we can be soft and we can be feminine and we can get what we need without being angry or without, I manage a lot of people, a lot of men, a lot of responsibility at work, but I come home and you talked about that submissiveness. I cook every night for my man because my man takes good care of me. So just know that when you attract the right person, you will do all the right things. And Trey, I don't know if you remember in my vows, I talked about all the things that I said I wouldn't do. Move from Philly. I don't cook because I travel all the time. Girl, I'm a whole different woman because I got a whole good man and I take care of my baby because he takes care of me.
This whole session right You didn't drop the mic. Listen here. Thank you so much for coming on here. And really, you just really broke down how I met, dated, and got married in 1 year.
Yeah,
and
my whole heart.
You just broke that whole thing down. Ain't it? Boom, right? Lucinda said boom. Lucinda Cross said boom. And period. Look, ladies, we're not getting it right. This whole little segment needs to be in Times Square on a megaphone so that we can all hear it. Okay, she said what she said. I told him I desired to get married, even if it's not to you. I'm dating multiple people. We around here locked down to some man that ain't even gonna marry us. We around here and cut everybody off to get let down in a year or 2 years or 3 years. We around here not telling people I want to get married because we so scared that he gonna walk away or he got somebody. Well, boom. Listen, I'm gonna get married, and if it ain't to you, that's okay too. But I'm just gonna let you know what it is I need because I know who I am. And like you said, people running around here talking about I don't trust nobody. No, you don't trust your damn self. That's a horrible life to walk around saying I don't trust nobody. I trust everybody until you give me a reason not to trust you. Yep. So I love you, Cherie.
I love you too.
Mrs. Sci Facts.
Yes. And girl, if I say Spiker, he corrects me. You want a man that professes because he don't play. I am Mrs. Sci Facts. I'm his wife. And that's real. And that has been from jump. So again, ladies, look at those man's actions. Do not talk about what they're talking about. Look at how they're walking with you.
Lord have mercy. I love my people. This right here. I'm gonna listen to this like 55 times so I can remind myself of what I deserve and who I am. Even though I teach this, I'm glad that I have people like you in my life to enforce that this is the real thing. No, you ain't intimidating no real man when you tell him I want to get married, and if it's not you,
absolutely.
He ain't intimidated. He either gonna step up or step back for the man that's supposed to be in your life.